Hey guys, FJH here, and today I'm going to show you how to use a speed light to take portraits outside in bright sunny conditions. There seems to be this idea that in order to take portraits outside in bright sun, that you absolutely need a bright strobe like 600 watts for example, but you can still get by with a speed light. It's just a matter of how you use it, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to use it, how to best use it in this video. The speed light that I'm going to be using today is the Flashpoint IT30 Pro. It is a mini speed light that has half the power of a normal size speed light, but it's much more smaller and compact. It also has the added benefit of being able to be used as a transmitter to control other Flashpoint lights. The lens that I'm going to be using today is the Viltrox 50mm f1.4 Pro. Even though this lens came out a couple days ago, I was fortunate enough to be able to use it for more than a month to take the different photos that you're seeing on the screen, and I've been really enjoying this lens, so I wanted to use it for today's video. The very first tip that I can give you guys is to make sure to use your light as close as possible to the subject. If you have a very strong strobe like the 600 watt strobe I mentioned earlier, you can move it further and further away and still have enough power. But since we're limited in the power of a speed light, we do want to make sure that we use the light very, very close to the subject. Essentially, this tip one is basically what's called the inverse square law. And I'll be honest with you guys, when I first learned about this concept, it kind of went over my head. So I wanted to break it down a lot simpler so that everyone can understand. When you have the light further and further away, the light is going to get less intense and weaker, so that it's going to show up less on your subject. By having the light much closer, you're still going to have that intensity with your light, and it's going to show up a lot more on your subject. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take two photos, one with the light further away and then one with the light closer, so you can see how the flash output is affected and how less intense it is on the subject, on Ashley. All right, 1, 2, and 3. So that last shot had the light further away and it kind of barely registered on Ashley. So now I'm gonna move the light as close as possible and then take that next shot. And I'm not only bringing the light closer, but I'm actually gonna just lower it a little bit, which is effectively making it even closer. 1, 2, and 3. As you can see with that second shot, the flash showed up a lot better on Ashley. There's times where I actually leave the light in my shot and make use of a plate shot to remove the light, or use generative fill to remove the light. And that's going to be in times where I really need all the power, every little ounce of power from my lighting in a very bright scenario. The second tip that I can give you guys if you need to use a speed light or any other limited power lighting in a bright sunny condition is to make sure that you use a small softbox rather than a big one. Just like with that first tip and having the light not travel so far, that's essentially what we're doing with this smaller softbox. If you have a bigger softbox, the light has to travel a little bit more, becoming less intense and showing up less on your subject. So we're going to use a small softbox to keep that intensity there. What I'm going to do now is, since I'm a visual learner, I want to take two more shots, one with the larger softbox and then one with the smaller softbox, so you can see how the difference in the softbox size affects the flash output. 1, 2, and 3. With that first shot that I took of Ashley, you can see that the light isn't exactly where I want it to be. It can be a little bit brighter. So what I'm gonna do now is change it to the smaller softbox so I can gain a little bit more of the flash power and it can properly expose my subject. All right, 1, 2, and 3. The very last tip I can give you guys is to avoid using high-speed sync, because you lose a lot of power whenever you use that feature, and instead use an ND filter or stop down your aperture. If you guys are not familiar with what high-speed sync is, it's essentially just using a fast shutter speed with your flash. And the whole reason why you might want to use a fast shutter speed with your flash is if you use a wide aperture, because so much light is going to come into your light sensor. When you use that wide aperture, you need something to kind of tone down the bright ambient light that's coming into your camera. And that usually means using a fast shutter speed with high-speed sync, but because we're using a speed light and there is a power loss when you use high-speed sync, I'm going to be using an ND filter today. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to take a shot with the light off. 1, 2, and 3. One last bonus tip that I want to mention in this video that I forgot to record on location, probably because it was so hot outside, is that if you're going to use your speed light with a softbox that has multiple layers of diffusion, if you don't mind sacrificing a little bit of the softness of your light, then you can actually remove a layer of diffusion to gain more power with your lighting. You typically lose about a stop of power for every layer of diffusion that you have. So if you need extra power in your lighting, then again, if you don't mind sacrificing a little bit of the softness of your light, then you can just remove a layer of diffusion if you have that option. I'll be honest with you guys, I tend to really enjoy super soft light in my work, so I'll make use of both layers of diffusion on my softboxes. But if there was ever a case where I exhausted all my options and I can't do anything else but remove layers of diffusion for that extra power, then of course that's what I'm gonna do. And that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned some stuff. And if you guys want to see more videos, then subscribe to the channel. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a like. Take care guys, and I'll see you in the very next video.